Hey, so I'm coming in. It's on a Sunday. And it seems like on the Sundays are the days where I get a lot of thoughts that I feel like sharing. And today is no exception. It's actually kind of extra in that way. I want to make a video and I haven't talked about it's kind of a few topics, and for a few purposes I want to make this video. And it might go for a long time. I'll probably just end up posting it on my YouTube, but either way, I'm going to make it. Um, it's going to cover a couple topics that have been pressing me lately, and it's nothing that I really conjured up to, be a topic recently with other people, but it is something that it's come up with a few different people in a few different ways, and it still ties to a lot of other things that go through my mind and that remind me of some of my experiences that weren't so pleasant. So I'm going to get it out and put it out there, and maybe somebody else can maybe gain some benefits from it, or lesson, or tea if they want. I don't care. So regardless, I'm getting it all out there, out of my head and into the world. I mean, it'll still probably, these videos could go a lot faster if I stop my side thoughts. But anyways, to the point. To the main point that goes towards why I'm making this video, which is kind of a random, morbid concept, but cannibalism. And I'll explain why it keeps coming up recently, and it has in my past as well. But I was out with my friends last night, and my good friends, my neighbors, and I was visiting with them. And I haven't been visiting with much of anybody much outside of maybe a dinner here or there. For multiple reasons. I'm probably better off by myself during certain periods of my life. And the replaying of the topic of cannibalism that I brought up last night was kind of like a reminder to me why I need to keep my ass to myself. But we were talking about, not wanting to harm animals, and it came up where they were like, no, I wouldn't want to unless I was starving or I had to. And I just randomly, jokingly said, I would eat you if I had to, talking about a human. Somebody obviously I would never eat. If it came down to apocalyptic style, like starvation and stuff, my neighbors would be the last people I would even think of eating, because we could help each other survive. And plus, I can survive quite a while without eating. And also, meat would be the last thing probably I would be trying to get if I had to, survive. And especially human meat. And that's why I tried to mention to him, I was like, no, it's dangerous to eat human meat. Cannibalism, there's parasites or diseases or whatever that can come from that. And I'm thinking about that while I'm in my shower. Of course, my shower time is always. And I'm like, I just hope, I don't care what anybody thinks, because I know me, and I know that they don't think I was serious about that. But I just hope people realize that I might say things that are so out there, but it's not a reflection of my beliefs or values. But I was saying, it's dangerous to eat, human meat. And one of the other people were like, is that the reason why you wouldn't do it? And in a way, yeah, that is the reason. Because, if you're eating another human, even if it is in the desperation of survival and it's the last option that you have, first of all, I don't cling to life so hard that I'm going to do anything just to give me a little bit longer life. it'd be like in the equivalency of you're starving, you're out in the wilderness, you see some poison berries, and you know they're poisonous, but you're so hungry and you eat it, knowing that's you're still gonna die and possibly faster than if you didn't, but you eat them because you're so starving. So it's kind of like, I know it's not the equivalent because there's different ranges. Sorry, my cat is scratching the couch. Tink, you're gonna help me. She's gonna help me with this video. But it's like, first of all, I'm not gonna eat, if I'm eating to survive and it's the only thing I have to eat, I'm not gonna eat something that goes against my survival, but just gives me a little bit longer, or even some like comfort, fills my belly, whatever, I'm not, it's not logical. So no, I won't eat meat if it's a human or a poisonous animal. I'm not going to eat something that's going to harm me because I'm trying to stay alive. It goes against the concept. So yeah, of course there's those moral things, but if I placed, the moral things on eating life, I mean, technically I like a lot of animals a lot more than I like a lot of people. So it's like, I'm still eating those animals. So it's like, and it is good for me. There is nutritional value and it does help with my life. So my whole point is, when it gets to the point of cannibalism and you're not doing it because it's the last option you have, this isn't my whole point, but this is a point, then it's definitely satanic. And that's not where our conversation went last night. It just went on to the saying of me jokingly saying, yeah, I'll eat you if I have to, which is a total joke. No truth to it whatsoever, because even if it did get to that point and it was a complete stranger and nobody I had any emotional ties to, I still wouldn't eat them. And like I said, not necessarily because cannibalism is wrong, but because it goes against the objective. And if you're doing it and you're not needing to survive, then it's satanic. And it's just even way worse because you're doing it for, dark reasons, and it does harm you physically, and it can make you sick. But you gotta be pretty sick in the head. So yeah, that topic of cannibalism came up last night, and that time I did actually bring it up, but a couple of weeks, maybe a month ago, I don't know, I was chatting with a new person that I met on one of the dating apps, and it came up. I made the jokes. I guess I am the one who always brings it up. It's been on my mind. I had it, and that's what this story is going to get into. That's why this might go over a long time, because it's going to touch into like some of my own experiences and why it's been popping up in my mind, and why I've even kind of spoke about cannibalism on my page, on my Facebook page a little bit, or eating people. But yeah, one of these guys I was chatting with, it did come up with him, and he actually knew. We actually talked about, he's smarter than I am in many ways, it seems like, but he actually knew. We were talking about apocalypse and things like that, and he brought up, I brought up maybe like, I don't know, it came up about zombies. I brought up zombies. And then he said something about, he actually knew about the, not the virus. Is it a virus that causes that disease that I was aware of that comes from eating human meat? So, I can't believe I'm making a video about cannibalism. But this is crazy because it is something that's kind of bothered me for a while. And I'm looking at my cat, Link. So it came up with him, and it actually came up again with him a couple of times. We don't talk anymore. I mean, it probably got too creeped out for him, and I don't blame him, and that's whatever. But recently it came up again. Well, I was also talking about my dating history, and I was like, yeah, until they want to try to eat you and stuff. And that's what I mentioned on my page a while ago, was when I was screaming about they tried to eat me. My brain's starting to scramble a little bit. I should have made an outline because there's a lot of areas. So I am going to go into what I'm talking about when I claim that I felt like somebody wanted to eat me. It's been over 6 years, about 6 years actually, since this incident happened, but it all goes back to when I first became single. I started dating. I dated a lot. I not just dated, but met people, because sometimes I didn't necessarily go on a date. I became single and started hitting up the dating apps right at the beginning of the pandemic, the quarantine, more so even. First guy I actually did meet in person, like, well, I don't even know I can't even keep track. He may not have been the first one I met in person, but I went to his house because, like, the shutdown had just started. And him and I actually, we connected for a couple months, maybe a few months. We spent, like, the summer together. And I can still be in touch with him. And I actually did recently get in touch with him and asked him some questions. And but he kept me occupied for a while. And while I'm like hanging out and like actually going out and doing things with somebody, I don't talk to other guys. I mean, there's other guys who might have my number and like reach out and stuff, but I don't feed into it. So I was focused on him for quite a while, and he kind of pulled his focus and did his thing, other things. So I went back out there and started talking to guys more. Actually, I think the story I'm about to get into was before I met that guy, but right when I became single, and I was like, okay, I'm getting back out there. Let me keep it straight. I'm sorry. But yeah, I just want to get to the point of that guy that I was talking about that I did spend a lot of time with. He told me, he warned me, like, because I kept in contact with them all the way through. That was back in like 2020, I think, summer of 2020. And he eventually told me, stop talking to so many guys. And I'm like, I'm just talking to guys. It doesn't hurt anything, it's whatever. And because I would keep like complaining to him about some of the situations I was dealing with. And that's what he's like, your problem is you talk to, and he also called me naive. So, but anyways, he told me I had a few things wrong with me. But anyway, so he did tell me, he's like, well, your problem is you're talking to too many guys. And I was like, but what else am I supposed to do? Like, I'm now 6 years later, I know I should have just like tended to my garden, worried about myself, take care of myself. God will send who I need. But so anyways, and I think in a way he was sent to kind of keep me in line, but I got wild, he got wild, whatever. So that was one thing I carried with me, and I did actually bring up to him recently, and I did tell him, you were right. I shouldn't have talked to so many guys, but everything happens for a reason. Even all these crazy guys I talked to. So anyways, there was this one that came out of nowhere, and he had a couple mutual friends, and I didn't meet him through the dating app. He came out of nowhere, and he came to me, and he had a couple mutual friends, and he actually wasn't in the town I live in. He's in my hometown. And I didn't think I would ever talk about this story publicly. I've only told a couple people, and jokingly when it happened, but after a while and things started falling into place, and I started seeing a lot of the players that were around me and seeing repetitive symbolism and threats and things like that, and just, I kind of was like, oh shit, what was that? What happened there? So this guy, and I had jokingly said, I'm going to share some of my crazy dating stories, and there's a lot of them, but this one was like one that was like dark. This was early on in my date, and I think God kind of sheltered me from the emotions of it and the thoughts of it, because it would have stopped me. It would have screwed me up. I just kept going. I'm like, okay, let's go meet the next one. Anyway, so uh this guy, he was telling me everything, like, that I was kind of like not wanting to hear, but I was like, man, this might be something God ordained sent. And I definitely overlooked some red flags, but he was really pushing to have me come see him. And still, it was quarantine time, so it wasn't, there was like not an option to go meet at a restaurant or anything. So I did go and meet with him, and at his house. And I was like, okay, we got a couple friends in common. Should be okay. And I did let somebody know that I was going, and like I tried to take some precautions, and I wasn't gonna go in his house was my thought process. But I should have known. He said some things before I came down, like, that were kind of eerie and kind of creepy and kind of, he pointed out so many details about me just from my pictures and stuff that I knew he was interested in me and things like that. But like, he was pointing out things about me that he found attractive that I didn't even like think about of myself, like down to the freckle, you know? So I knew he was into me, and I went down there, and or up there where I'm from. And I went and met with him, and we're out in the yard, and I was kind of, like meeting anybody in person for the first time. I got a little nerves, a little nervousness. And I went there, and he was like so, like, not giddy, but like so about me. And he kept trying to touch me. And I had to tell him to not touch me a couple times. And like, just like he even found a reason to like touch my button on my thing, because there's like a little emblem on it, and he like said something about it. And like, I think that was like by the third time I told him, I was like, don't touch me. And I was like, I'll sit with you and visit with you a little longer, but don't touch me. Just, you're doing too much. Like, and he kept watching me so intensely that I had to say something. Like, I was nervous, and I was rolling cigarettes at the time, and I rolled a cigarette, and he like didn't just watch me do it. He like examined me doing it. So it got to the point where I had to like even put out the cigarette, because every time I like would put it to my mouth, he was like in there. And I told him, I'm like, you are like too deep into looking at me, wanting to touch me, this and that. And he kept trying to act like he was like willing to appease my comfort level, and like, stop, thank you. I'm just trying to get my drink. He was trying to like appease my comfort level and things like that. And I told him, I'm like, the way you're looking at me is too much. It's too intense. And I think I even said, it's like, you want to eat me? And he didn't deny it, but he's like, oh, I'm sorry. I could put sunglasses on. And he did. He put sunglasses on. I'm like, I still know you're looking at me. I could still like feel your eyes, and I could still see a little bit through your sunglasses. I'm like, but that should have been a clear flag that there's a problem if the guy's like willing to put sunglasses on because you feel like he's looking at you too intensely. I've never had this happen with any man. I've had men attracted to me and men try and shoot their shot. But this guy was on a level that I've never experienced with anyone before, after, or anything. So I was like, I had enough of it. And he wanted to keep hanging out. And it got to the point where he kind of tried to egg me to come inside. He kept trying to push me inside. And I was like, No. And then he got up and he like went inside to do something. And then I saw he had a kitten, a little cat. And everybody knows I love animals, especially cats. But I was like, oh, there's your cat. And he's like, yeah, come see the cat. And he literally was using the cat to lure me to come in. And I even said to him, it's like I'm like, you're trying to lure me in. I'm not going in there. And I got to the point where he knew that I was like not trusting being around him anymore. And he had this cat. And the cat was so cute. And it almost like, it almost worked. Oh my gosh. But I kept having like, just like images in my mind that he wanted to like, as soon as I got in there, I was trapped and he was going to get me. And the way that it was going down before that and after that, and like I felt like he wanted to wear my skin. I felt like he literally wanted to like cannibalize me. And there was other symbols and stuff and just things that I saw on his premises in his house and things that didn't affect me at the time. But after I started like having more run-ins with more men, I started seeing trends of like, I'm not even going to get into them because there's interests that I started noticing were running through some of the characters that mostly I felt uncomfortable with, uneasy with, threatened by. So I wouldn't go in, and he was like begging me to come in. And that was another thing. I'm like, you're trying too hard. Not only are you too thirsty acting, you're not even just thirsty, you're hungry acting. You had to like hide your eyes from me because I told you I wasn't comfortable with how googly they were. Like, I had never been in a situation like that. It was so intense. And I finally was like, no way am I going in there. And I told him that, like, no way am I coming in. So I try not to lie a lot, but I did to him. And I was like, I got to go see my sister. My sister was pregnant at the time. I was like, I got to go see my sister. I was like, let me go speak with her. And like, I would not even cross the threshold. Like, there was something in me spiritually telling me, do not put your foot through that door. Like, I literally did not put a toe in the doorway. I would not go in there. And my whole body and spirit was telling me, do not go in there. And I even had visions of once I went in there, like bad things happening and me not being identifiable after it all went down. So I told him, okay, I gotta go see my sister. I have to catch up with her real quick since I'm in town. And I was like, I gotta go. I'll be right back. And then that's where I lied to her. I told her I'll be back. And I was like, we can talk. We'll see. Maybe I'll come hang out, whatever, do a movie or something. I knew I was not going in that house for nothing. I knew I had to get out of there because like it got to the point where I wasn't even like, we weren't talking about anything. I was just like figuratively pushing him away from me. And then a couple of times I told him, take your hands off me. So, I mean, even literally. But he's like, okay, fine. And he walked me to my car. And before we got to my car, he asked me to put my head down, to bend over slightly, so he could move my hair and smell the back of my neck. I think he explained to me. I don't know. Maybe I Googled it. But there are pheromones strong back there or something like that. But he wanted to smell my pheromones at a strong point, I guess. After I was already scared. I don't know if he knew I was scared, but he knew I was uncomfortable. And I'm like, and I was like, no. First of all, I'm like, you're doing too much. But also, I did not want to get in a position physically where for all I know, he could have slit my neck at that point. You know, I was not taking my eyes off the guy. And I was not bending down to him whatsoever. Even if I was like attracted to him and it wasn't all that like creepy. No. It was my first meeting with you. I'm not going to try to I mean, don't get me wrong. I've had first meetings with some guys and, you know. Anyway, so not even necessarily, even with my ex-husband, but still, I was not doing that for him. But it was such a weird thing. I've never had anybody say anything like that to me and ask me to do such a thing. Bend down so I can smell your neck. Bend over. Sorry. I can't remember what he asked exactly, but he's a tall guy too. And it's just like, so fucked up. So I got out of there. He even left me a voicemail. Like, he kept trying to call me and stuff because I was like, I told myself, I'm like, there's no way I'm going back there. So I hung out with her. I told her what happened and stuff. I was like, it felt like he wanted to eat me. And eat my innards and wear my outers. so I was just like so over that, but he like started like blowing me up and like leaving me voicemails and that's what kind of also popped it back in my memory. Like I found the old voicemail of one of the times where he was like ask me to come back. And now that I hear it, and I might even play it on here, I wasn't going to bring this stuff up. Like I said, it's been like 6 years since this happened. I was scared to even like bring it up about him, especially publicly, because like he had me on my Facebook and stuff. And I was like not wanting to like stir the pot. Like what I did with him was I played it to where, and I don't care if he sees it now, he can fuck off and he can take whatever he wants. And if he wants to try to eat somebody, he better hope it's not me because it ain't happening. But anyway, I was not comfortable with talking about that guy, especially publicly. Most of the guys I actually have interactions with face-to-face and things like that, I don't talk about a lot of the experiences. I will sometimes post our conversations a little bit here and there, and most of them, I won't even do that. The ones I do that with are the ones I still have some level of respect for, and it's my conversation, it's my part of the conversation. It's not anything that was so detrimental that it was like threatening to me or anything. But yeah, I wasn't going to ever bring this guy up in a video or even a post or anything, but it's been long enough. I don't care anymore. I've been through the fire. It's whatever. But yeah, I might even post this video, but like listening to it again after all the dust has settled on other issues as well, like I can like hear the darkness in his voice. I'm like, whoa, why would I even... And I talked to him on the phone before I went down there and all that. Like, why would I even, like, go visit him when he sounds like that? Like, especially when he's, like, desperate. In the voicemail, he's, like, desperate. He's like, don't do this to me. I'm not laughing at him. It's just crazy. And it's crazy that, like, I might play the voicemail. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, that was like a player part of, this is almost a 30-minute video. We'll see. I might edit it and stuff too, but I don't know. I usually don't edit videos. I'm just like, whatever. If you don't want to sit through it all, it's not for you, whatever. And if I do put it on my YouTube, you can fast forward the speed. So that motherfucker tried to eat me, lure me in with a kitten. But yeah, so I got away from that situation. Oh yeah, what I was going to say is that I, with him, a few guys, usually the guys I feel threatened by, the guys I feel threatened. There's categories of these men, and I haven't felt threatened by all of them. Actually, the more than not, I don't feel threatened. This guy definitely gave me the ick, and he, I let him cut ties with me because I did not want him to chase me in the, way of like runner chaser mode and stuff. Like, I wanted him to be turned off from me and to like run from me because I wasn't going to chase him. So I let him like, I was like, I'm sorry, I did you wrong. I let him think that I was like, I've had to do this with a few guys. I let them cut the ties. Because I want it over, and I want them to, scary thing is they always all come back. They all come back in some way or another, even if it's just a message or a like on, like a dating app or something like that. So that's, and there's another one that I felt threatened by, and I wasn't sure if I should bring this one up either, because this one has recently, I have seen him on my dating app. He's sent multiple likes. And I see you. I get it. Whatever, you're there. Even if I wanted to talk to him, I can't. I can't. I'm restricted. He's restricted too. I just don't think he knows. But yeah, I can't. I'm not allowed to. So it's like, I see you. Yes. We had our experience together. I wasn't saying it's great, but it wasn't great. But yeah. There was a few guys in particular, and I'm not going to get into their situations because I actually did see these guys more than once. There's a few guys in person that I felt threatened by. And then there's a few guys that I never met in person that were online that I felt threatened by. And I kind of am uncomfortable talking about that altogether because I was revealed a lot, and it was tied into things that led me to snap and to have to get mental health treatment and cause self-harm. It was typical textbook gang stalking. I don't even think they all know they were being used to do that to me. I feel like, I don't know how deep I want to get into this conversation at all, but there was more than one person, and I was highly stressed out. And like I said, I opened that gate to meeting so many men and to interacting with so many. And it really has messed me up. I haven't went on a date with a man since I've hung out with a couple men, but they were either men I knew previously, or I did meet a new guy that I hung out with. Like, I even stayed in his house and stuff, and like we never dated. We were friends, but he's gone too. But he's got his own demons, whatever. So, but I never felt threatened by him. Like, not to the extent, I mean, I was cautious in the beginning, but anyways, he had family. His brother was old good friends with my brother. So like, there was a level of, okay, we know each other's family. He grew up where I used to spend my summers with my family and stuff. So like, I didn't know him, but our families knew each other. So whatever. So yeah, I haven't, but other than that, I have not like been alone with new men, since 2021, since August 2021. Because I did feel threatened by men quite intensely and in multiple ways. And this is another direction I did want this video to go, because I do want single women to understand the importance of protecting and garden, not just your peace, your heart, your mind, but your physical. Not every man that I felt threatened by, and there's probably a handful, maybe about 6, 7 of them that I've actually felt, whether they were in my personal physical or just online. Each and every one, there was a different level of threat and a different mode of threat that I felt from them. Like that one guy that I just told a story about, he's the only one I felt like wanted to eat me. And that's what did come up recently, is I was talking about, that I don't even want to say the name, the files that have been released. And not because I'm scared of any not doxing, but what is it, like getting in trouble for talking about certain words, because there's no words that I will say all the words. I'm not worried about getting censored or anything like that, but I just don't want to say the name because I don't want any names in this video. But the files that have been released, reveal a lot of cannibalism and like what they did to babies. And so I've recently talked about that a little bit on my Facebook. But that's why I do want to warn women, not even just women, people. There are predators out there. There are people out there being used by entities that they don't even know that they're being used by, to pull in people to be harmed by more powerful entities. So if you're going to be dating, you're going to be meeting new people, you do want to have a guidance level to you. You do want to have some protection. Most importantly, you want to put God first in anything and everything, regardless of what you're doing, whether you're dating, married, anything. Because without God, I would be dead for sure. But yeah, each guy I did feel threatened by. And it's funny because it's not funny, but I put myself out there. I mingled with them. And even with the ones that gave me the ick, and I did feel like a little bit of uncomfortable about. And there was one in particular that I felt very uncomfortable about. And like him, I did like openly battle with him. And I did not let him think that he had to run from me. I let him, beautiful and handsome, are running out there. They're my squirrels. They be playing. They're a couple. They're so pretty. They're red and like fluffy. So anyway, no, I straight up told him he went too far. He left a mark on my face. And anyway, they all, there was a threat, a different threat for each one. And right up until when I snapped, I started getting a lot of downloads, a lot of clarity, especially after fasting for weeks. I started seeing who was around me and what was in them, because demonic forces aren't people. Demons are not people. They work through people. And I still have a lot of forgiveness. I have forgiveness for each and every one of them. I don't want any of them, the ones that I felt threatened by, to be anywhere near me. I don't want to run into them. I don't think God's going to make me have to deal with them. And when I finally snapped, yeah, I put it out there, some of the things that I felt threatened by, and some of the things they did. And it was a lot. So my whole thing is, evil's real. It exists, and it exists in our streets. It's not just with the elites. But this whole thing is, you have to give consent. You have to let it in. You have to allow it. So, I mean, know the battlefield. Know your enemy. And I don't know where I want to wrap this up with, but I just want people to be safe and to know and to learn if you have to. And I know this video doesn't really get into specifics, and with any topic, there's a lot of angles and depths that could be discovered. Just something to think about. And this is a long video, 40 minutes. But I think it is important. It's important to me because it took me a while to like realize that I was surrounded by threats. I don't know what else to call it. And the crazy thing is with me, like even when I realized it was becoming clear and I could see like the dark things that wanted to do dark things to me, I didn't tell anybody. Like I called the police on one instance because I actually did have somebody in my yard and I really felt threatened. And that was like when I didn't know it at the time, but I was going through psychosis because my potassium went so low and I wasn't eating. And when the police were here, I had dry mouth so bad. I even told them, I was like, there's a lot of people mad at me. I was like, but they couldn't do anything. And I remember because I watched that video not that long ago, and I was just like, I had cotton mouth. I remember, and I had cotton mouth so bad, I couldn't even like really talk. And I apologized to him. I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't really, and I was like explaining to him. Sorry, now I'm starting to just go overboard. But no, I did call for help. I felt like there was a lot of evil running through even everybody. So that's why I ran to the woods. I wanted to be alone. I didn't trust anybody. I ran to my father. I ran to my dad, and then I ran to my father in the woods. And he got me out of it. So, yeah, but I had to do some things. And that's where we are. So be safe. Hopefully nobody has to go through the level of is my eye I thought my eye had broken another blood vessel. So yeah, just be safe, be aware, not just of your surroundings, but of your inners. What's going on in your heart? Let's see if we can get a link here. Ooh, I have to say bye to you guys. Ooh. She helps me when I cry. Or here, she's in the other room. Help me, help me, help me, help me. I might edit this part off. Help me. Is she here? Here she comes. Help me, help me. Help me, help me. Are you gonna come help me? Where's she at? There she is. Tinky, say hi to everybody. I think Link is Abel reincarnated. Abel used to do that help me thing, and she responds to my singing like crazy, like Abel used to. She helped me, help me. Thank you, Link. Link says, they better not hurt my mommy. No threats gonna get to my mommy because she's here. She's here. She's my little angel cat. So is Stormy, but Stormy's my healer more than my protector. I always have a protection cat, and that's Link. Abel reincarnated. I might edit all that off, but either way, I love you all. Just be safe. Love each other. Care for each other, protect each other. But protect yourself. Because like I said, these people that have these demonic ways, they're not demons. They need to protect themselves. Shut those doors. Admit where you're wrong. Tell on yourself. That's a whole nother topic for another day, because we could get out of a lot of worldly issues if people just admitted they were wrong, told on themselves, stop doing it, and put their eggs on their face themselves, and don't give anybody any rights to blackmail you. And maybe we'll get into that sometime.